And we are back, Willie, for the fourth morning in 5 days.
Yeah,
Thursday,
yeah,
Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
we're really earning our keep.
And
So it's been so crazy. It's so crazy. DK Metcalf got traded. Miles Garrett resigns. Kidding.
um, Josh Allen, largest guarantee in NFL history.
But what did they do? They just ripped up his contract and said we'll pay you.
He had a 4-year deal, or he had four years left on his deal. They tore it up and said, we're going to give you more money and a longer contract. So they got rid of his 4-year deal, made it a 6-year deal, and gave him $300 million with $250 million guaranteed.
Why do that? What's the point?
Because he's Josh freaking Allen, baby. They
So we're just
reward
gonna.
him. They
Hey, we know
reward
you're
him for
getting a lot of
being
money.
MVP.
We know you're getting a lot of money, but let's give you more. No, seriously, there was so much going on, and like this guy, God bless his heart, right? So last night, I conferences like Big 12 ends, final whistle of conference weekend. I bust out, I have it up almost immediately. Everybody that's in, everybody that needs a wild card, and both weight by weight, and then I have a master list of everybody that needs, so you can see like there's four at larges nationally, and here's like six guys that need. Okay,
Yep.
so I was busting my tail all day. Then that got over, and I was like, or that got done, and then I'm thinking about like it was just going through my head. Oh, I hope this doesn't happen with seeds. I hope that doesn't happen with seeds. Oh, you know what? I hope this doesn't. And I was like, let me just write down a quick. Let me bang out a quick article, and so I do a quick like wish list article of things I hope happen and don't happen, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Uh, it was stream of consciousness. I honestly I've never write articles like that. Like just knee jerk reaction. Didn't really think it through. Didn't really think about all the ramifications, except the 141 I did. So
141
there,
you got
there might
wrong.
be some things in there that I contradict myself and contradict process. It's basically my wish list is how I hope the brackets come out, right? So I do who's in, who's not. I do uh those it's that seed article. Then I have to go through and I have to update my state hub. So I go through all of New Jersey and I write a recap on that. I go through all of Ohio. There are three divisions and I write a recap on that. I go through all of PA and there are two divisions and I write a recap on that. And then I check my inbox and the guy says, "Hey, when our junior high ranking is going to be updated?" And I'm like, you got to be kidding me right now."
Well, I had people last night, like, I'm one person. I cover the sport the best I can. And I had people, like, some people mad at me, like, oh, you're not going to mention this guy? Or you're not going to, like, I can only watch so much wrestling and send so many tweets at one time. Like, this weekend's crazy with how much wrestling there was. Even last night when you had, like, the crossover, where you had, I think you had the crossover of what Big Tens was finishing up, ACCs was starting, and then Big 12s were starting. It was chaos. It was chaos.
Yeah. Yeah. And all the while, I mean, listen, Ivy League's going to get overlooked,
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
I literally saw nothing with the Ivy Leagues. Nothing.
I saw not one match. I did all the results, and there was nothing shocking. You know, a couple guys here and there, like decent guys need. I think, like, well, we'll get to it, but like a Nico Incontrera who has some really good wins, and I think but he's had some really wonky losses. He was probably as high as like 8 in the country, and now he's down at 15. He needs one, but I mean, you're not going to zero in on that kind of stuff when there's other things going on and nothing really happens out of the ordinary. So,
We'll talk
um,
about it because I want to go weight by weight today instead of trying to do each conference. I think the way we did it yesterday, where we talked about, and if you missed it, Willie and I did a show on an hour kickoff show on Saturday before everything started, and then yesterday we did an hour recap show for what we saw Saturday. So we're not going to rehash everything, but we'll go weight by weight. One thing I did see at Ivy's was Myers Shapiro is finally looking like himself. Jude Swisher has been a dog all year, and Meyer got the, I think, 19-2 tech over him. So Shapiro really, the last time they wrestled, which was like a month ago, it was a 6-2 win for Shapiro. And now Shapiro teched him 19-2. So,
He also majored Harrington, and that is not like, you know, high level news, except for in the that's the kid he got hurt against, like first week of the season.
yeah.
So, um, so looking good, but so is Kasich.
Well, let's go weight by weight. Let's go through it all. Let's talk some wrestling. We'll talk about some seating stuff as we go. Where your wish list is wrong, where I think your wish list is right.
All right. On 125, we'll start with 125. Eddie Ventresca does it again, beats Vince Robinson. Um, if I reference rankings, it's going to be Intermatch rankings from last week, obviously. But that was 4/5. Ventresca over Robinson, second consecutive time. He beat him. Um, Jet Strickenberger wins Big 12s. He beats Spratley in the finals. Richie Figs took a weird loss to unranked Tristan Doherty from North Dakota State, but Figs comes back and takes third. Didn't
Figs
hang his
got.
head about it.
I'll tell you what. He didn't just not hang his head about it. Figs bounced back the best way you can. He got 3 straight pins on the backside to then
Yeah.
get the 6-3 win over Lorenzo for third.
Yep. And so ACC bringing 4, Big 12 bringing 7. So Jet Strickenberger, who was number 12, won a bracket with 2 and 3 in it, and 6. Poulin was 6, and he took 5th. Big 10, they bring 9. Uh, Joey Cruz needs because he lost in the backside to Caleb Wind of Michigan State, and then
What does Iowa have qualified right now? 8?
he lost to Macron. I believe they have
And then just
8. They
Cruz and
do have,
Shriver. I think Cruz and Shriver aren't qualified right now, correct?
correct.
Yeah.
Yep. So Big Ten brings 9 at 125. Lillidahl over Smith. That's 8/7. Matt Ramos took third. That is Luke Lillidahl beating Ramos, and um, I beat him quite handily. Big play. I'll tell you what. I saw a lot of people talking about the high level Keegan O'Toole Hamidi scramble, and it was, boy. But go back and watch, if you haven't, the first exchange that led to the near fall points for Luke Lillidahl and Ramos. That was such high level shot, like reaction to the reaction. That was, both guys were feeling it.
I don't know who won
That
OW
was
at the Big Ten tournament, but I think Lillidahl should have got it.
awesome. Lillidahl,
He
I think.
wrestled so damn good this weekend. I'm assuming Carter got it, if there was one.
No, he didn't. Gable did. Gable got OW. Kale got Coach of the Year, and I see some people complaining about it. I mean, there's levels to it, right? It's like on one hand, like Manning deserves consideration, Poeta deserves consideration. On the other hand, Kale, just because you're tired of Kale winning awards in Penn State, just because you're tired of Kale of a Penn State winning, doesn't mean that Kale's job is any less impressive.
I know. I say the same thing about Gable. You might be tired of Gable winning awards, but even yesterday, I understand the case for him. I mean, yesterday he beats a returning undefeated national champ soundly. 10-3 he beat Kirk. Like,
Yeah. But so Gable was the Gable was the OW. Kale was coach of the year.
But Lilidol majoring number one Matt Ramos, I thought was super, super impressive. And then he wins, a tight one with Caleb Smith. Last time they wrestled, it was 4-2. This time it was 4-3. And again, back-to-back true freshman Big Ten champs for Penn State. I tweeted out, which some people did not like, Soriano curse broken, ? Because I understand that like the Soriano curse is Penn State not All-American, getting an All-American at NCAAs. But I also think part of that curse was just not being able to string it together at 125, whether it's injuries, whether it's not qualifying. The fact that Penn State has had back-to-back true freshman Big Ten champs, I think says a lot that, hey, 125 is no longer a problem. Now, if you want to say that Penn State needs an All-American this year to officially break the curse, I'm not going to fight you.
Yeah, I mean, I felt it has been kind of weird when Penn State up and down the lineup has been amazing. They've had like a national champ. They might have had a national champ at every weight since they had an All-American at 125. At least a finalist.
I'm sure they have. Even in the last 5 years, they probably have.
They've had a finalist at every weight since the last time they had an AA at 125, which is insane. But a lot of that, 125, Braden Davis was every bit as good as those guys last year. It's a lot of parity, and he didn't have his best tournament, and whatever. I'm not getting into that. It's hogwash.
Hold on. Now you got me wanting to look. Now you got me wanting to look if that's true. If they've had a champ or finalist since an All-American. Let's do it real quick.
Well, it's not champ because it is champ because Nick Lee.
Champ. So Roman Bravo Young, 33. Nick Lee, 41. 49 Zane.
No, yeah, Zane. I get what Zane.
I'm just naming somebody who's won since 2015. When was the last AA with Nico?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So you had Zane at 49.
If it's 2015, then yes. Then the answer is yes.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they've had one since Nico.
That's insane.
All right, so yeah, they've had a champ at every weight since the last time they had an All-American at 25.
Okay, back to weight by weight. Big Ten taking 9. Lilidol beats Ramos and Smith. Dean Peterson, I defaulted out then. He took 6. That's kind of a little wonky. McCrone
did you see that match? I mean, he looked like he legitimately got tweaked.
Yeah. I know. There was several. You never know unless you happen to catch that match. When they forfeit out on the backside, it's like, are they really hurt or are they just tired or what? But like Dean I caught that match. He looked like he was legitimately hurt. Yaroslav Slavikuski, legitimately hurt. Like it not only made him forfeit the other matches, it made him lose the match he was in.
Yeah, Peterson had to take injury time and then gave Caleb choice,
Yeah.
and Caleb took down with 40 seconds to go. So,
EIWA taking 2. Ivy, Mark Anthony McGowan win. Mark Anthony McGowan's an interesting cat in 2 weeks, boy. He's an interesting cat. I mean, he could go 1-2 or 2-2, or he could cause some upsets. He wins the Ivy League. Max Gallagher, Marcelo Milani, the 2-3. Diego Sotelo's going to need one. Blake West won the MAC. Maximo Renteria won the Pac-12. And seeding is going to be all over the place here, boss.
Seating at 125 just makes no sense to me at this point. My knee-jerk reaction is if it sounds like they're going to favor conference champions, which you did in your wish list, I would assume by that logic, Lilidol is going to likely be the one with beating Ramos.
Yeah. I think he will too. I mean, who else would you have there? You can't
Um,
have you can't have Strickenberger. Van Tresca, maybe?
it's so funny because some of these guys like they
What's
have
Van Tresca's chances?
some of these guys have a couple like top 10 losses, but then look at Eddie Van Tresca, for example. He lost to Spencer Moore. He lost to guys that are outside the top 10. So I do
Yeah.
not envy anybody's seeding in NCAAs.
No, I think so. Van Tresca has, and this is something I'm probably going to do this week is try to. Well, I don't even know if we have enough time. What's the timeline? What's the
So
timeline? At large is when?
I was trying to
At large
look
is Monday, Tuesday?
I was trying to look back to what we did last year because I was trying to plan the shows this week. I believe we did a at-large show on Tuesday and then did a preview show Wednesday or Thursday. So I think brackets come out Wednesday night. So I think at-larges come out today or tomorrow, and then brackets come out Wednesday night.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe if I get a zip of energy, I still haven't slept from again last night, but um, if I get a little energy, maybe I'll do some seed speculation um, in greater detail. But as of now, just looking at things very quickly, Van Tresca lost to Ramos. Van Tresca lost to Spencer Moore. Van Tresca
Right.
lost to Spratley.
And,
So
and I bring up
I
Ventresca
would have
because
Luke one.
I bring up Ventresca because it sounds like you and others are saying conference championship is going to have a lot of weight. And Ventresca looked great the past 2 months. Ventresca has looked great, beat Vince Robinson twice. But again, those losses probably going to weigh him down a bit.
Yeah, yeah. And so some real wonky stuff, especially at 41 and 57. But this is like a mild version of it. I don't know. I'd probably have Luke the one.
And Ramos the two.
Probably. I mean, I don't think you can hammer Ramos. He only has one loss.
He's 26 and
You
1
know,
on the
and
year.
I don't think you can put him behind Van Tresca, who he has a head-to-head over.
Right. He's got a head-to-head. He beat Ventresca. He beat Troy Spratley.
Now you can put Van Tresca over Smith. Van Tresca beat Caleb Smith, although Caleb Smith I think beat Spencer Moore, who beat. Yeah, that's getting into it.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting. This year more than
Spencer,
ever, I don't know
yeah.
about all the weights, but this year more than ever at some of these weights, getting the one seed is not necessarily a huge advantage.
Well, that's what. So every morning or every time we do a show, I call in and me and Bash talk a little bit beforehand, and it's usually like, "That's stupid, you stupid idiot. What are you thinking?" And I open up the screen, and Bash is like, "You're a homer. You tried to give Brock Hardy the best draw you possibly
No,
could."
no,
And
I did not say that. I just called you a homer for giving him the one. I did not say it's the best draw. We'll talk about that.
Well, it's not at 141. It's I don't even know if there is a good draw.
No, and we'll talk about it when we get there, but 100%. The whole thing all year we've been talking about with 41 is if it looked like you were going to have that upper three completely separated from the rest of the field, then the one is a very clear favorite and you have the 2, 3 in the bottom. Now, it's not anymore. The fact that Alirez has a loss and could be anywhere from 5 to 8 in the seeds, like
I for real have Alirez projected. I don't know how you put him higher than 8.
I know. I was legit thinking that this is just going down a bunny trail of thoughts, but I was thinking
The bunny trail. He's
is
on the bunny slope.
is the one because the one seed at 125 can be a curse. And NCAA's this year, imagine you get the one seed, let's just say it's Lilidal, and then you end up in a quarterfinal with Alirez the 8.
Yeah, that's why it's not an easy draw, no matter where you're at. Um, but the problem for a Lira, well, that's
Yeah,
step one for
yeah.
me.
Why are you jumping around, Willie? All right, does that cover 125?
Well, one more thing at
Because at this
125.
pace, this is going to be a 4-hour show.
That's fine. We love it. Um,
Listen on 2x speed for the criers that say the long shows they don't have time to listen.
this is
Put it
who
on
needs.
2x speed.
This is who needs at 125, and there's 4 spots available. Spencer Moore, who has has a win over Van Treska. I think he has a win over Pac-12 champ Maximo Renteria, I believe. That's insane. He needs, right? With monster wins. He has wins over 2 conference champions, and he needs. Tanner Jordan, a returning All-American. He needs. Joey Cruz needs. Diego Sotelo needs. Coda Holman needs. So it's not. I think there's 5 or 6 guys. 3 of them being really good. Um, it's not a dire situation there. There's 4 spots. Um, it's pretty manageable.
Wow, Spencer Moore beat Eddie Van Treska, Jet Strickenberger.
Wow.
He majored Strickenberger 11-2 early in the
Did
year.
he beat Maximo, right?
Yep, he beat him in the duel in overtime, 9-6.
That's 3 conference champions,
That's insane. He beat.
and he's not in.
That's insane.
All right, 133 ACC. Connor McGonigal beats Kai Oreen. Oreen came in to the tournament having not earned a bid, and so he earned a bid. The guy that got busted there was Tyler Knox, who came into the tournament number 9. He'll certainly get one. ACC bringing 3: McGonigal, Oreen, and Ethan Oakley. Tyler Knox is a hoping. Big 12, total chaos. Evan Frost, who was ranked number 4 in the country coming in, he needs a wild card. The number 1 seed, 4 in the country, needs a wild card. It was won by Dom Serrano over Kyle Berwick. Julian Farber got in. 3 guys that are not ranked in the country. They're not ranked 33 or higher in the country. Gets in. Cade Moore, Derek Gardner, Hunter Leak. They stole bids from Evan Frost, Reese Whitcraft, and Cleveland Belton. Pretty crazy. And 133 is going to be the worst weight. Because I just told you, Kai Oreen stole one from Tyler Knox. So now, as it sits, we're only through 2 conferences, and number 4, number 9, number 20, and number 21 all need, and there's only 4. Okay. Big 10, Lucas Bird pins Drake Ayala in a pretty crafty, like cow catcher type thing from bottom. That was insane. Nick Bouzakis rallies to take 3rd. I told you, the kid gets a bad rap. Braden Davis was 4th. Braston Brown, 5. How about that bracket? Had number 2, number 3, number 5, number 6 in the country. Tyler Wells, number 19, needs. Tyler Wells needs. I'm not sure who's more likely to get it between him and Cleveland Belton or Whitcraft. They are ranked 19, 20, 21, respectively. One guy I think should get consideration. Listen, I know that Big Ten's the toughest. We all know this. But if you fail to take like 10th, you lost. You're out. Let's not get crazy. Meanwhile, Kyle Waterman, who gets a win over a ranked guy, he's still not in because the EIWA only got one. Curtis Fitz-Bucknell won it. Ethan Bergic didn't get in. Kyle Waterman didn't get in. EIWA might be the one that's really screwed here.
Can we talk about the Bird Ayala match for a minute and then go back to the stats? What did you make of that
Mm-hmm.
match?
Oh, I thought it was a pretty nifty move. I watched it like 14 times, and I don't think Drake could do much. I think Lucas, and it's hard to get the angle from the replay on BTN Plus. Um, Bird must have had the chin tight because Drake couldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know. What do you make? What do you make of it? That's what I make of it. It
So
was a good move by Bird.
Bird looked awesome, and it's funny because Drake, I was basically as high as I can be on Drake to win NCAAs, and now my confidence level is taking a slight hit. Drake is so damn good, and then Lucas Bird just, I don't want to say comes out of nowhere, but comes out of nowhere with that pin and just. Also, there's a lot of people that I was tweeting out a couple Iowa stats, and you got to do it carefully because if you word it even remotely wrong, they're going to come at you, the Iowa fans, like you're trying to hate on them, and I'm not. And there's a lot of people who were surprised that Big Ten that Iowa did not have a Big Ten champ last year. They kept saying, like, when was the last time this happened? I'm like, last year? We talked about it on the show. Glazier was their only finalist last year.
Only finalist. Even Drake, who won the national title, was not a finalist.
Now, he took, what, third last year, I think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, some of these matches, that's the thing about predictions. It's like one Bird can win. Bird can beat.
The hell's
Bird
going
can
on over there?
There's a cat in the room, and I'm gonna kill him.
I just see him. For those watching the video, he's like looking at his leg like he's kicking something. I'm like, what are you doing? Willie's got a cat in the studio.
The cat and the cat scratches me a lot. I've done shows with scratch everywhere. Anywho,
Oh man.
I don't know. Yes, Lucas Bird could pin him, right? And even the Luke Ramos match. I mean, the score's lopsided, and you say, "Oh well, Luke's finally arrived, and now he surpassed Ramos." But if that flurry doesn't happen, and it's a 7-point move, the match could look entirely different.
Agreed. I think I'm still gonna pick Drake to win NCAAs, but
There you go, right?
in Buzakis, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I think I had said on our preview show on Thursday that this weight, Drake had an insane path to win as the 1 seed. And when you look at exactly how it played out, I mean, Buzakis, we didn't see a Buzakis-Ayala match, which we had said Buzakis is a landmine. But Buzakis, I mean, shout out him because he loses to Rini the first round.
First round.
And then he has a bye, and then he gets a pin on the backside, and then he gets a win over Van D, who got injured, and then he beats Shawver 6-4, and then he pins Braden Davis for third. So, if you're going to lose first round, that's the way to bounce back. A lot of strong bounce backs this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, it never fails. We will get off topic, but we're at 133. But you talked about Richie Figs. You talked about Buzakis. You talked about tweeting stuff about Iowa seeds. But good bounce back from Ben Keeter, who took third in a bracket with 2 national champs.
I tweeted that out. Ben Keeter was Iowa's strongest performer this weekend. He's the only guy who outperformed his seed on that entire lineup. And
even Gabe Arnold, like I see there was somebody started a message boards thread on Gabe Arnold. He don't got it, and like all he does is he has no offense. Like he's a freshman, he's probably not in his best weight class, and he took 5th. He's a freshman that took 5th at 184.
I know. Yeah, somebody was like, "What do you make of Gabe? Is the hype? Is he overhyped?" He's taking crap all year. What do you mean hyped? Who's hyping him? The guy's a freshman. He arguably last year Willie told him, "Hey, you should go up to 84," and he said, "Willie, I'm 5'2" or whatever he said. He's like, "I'm a 74 pounder." We see him up at 84. He's still in the top 6 guys at the Big Ten, and he's getting crapped on left and right. Like, oh, the hype isn't real. What hype?
He beat Silas Allred, who won a Big Ten title one time, and he's a freshman.
I think Arnold will be fine next year.
I think he's fine now. I mean,
no, I know, but they're looking forward. They're like, oh, what? He's going to be fine.
Yeah, the dude's almost impossible to take down. Anyway, yeah, he's fine. All right, let's go 133. Well, do you have any thoughts on 133 seeds? I mean,
I have a lot of thoughts on seeds. I'm just trying to recap some of the action because we're going very seed heavy, which I know I'm sure a lot of people want that because we're heading into NCAAs and there's a lot of talk right now about it is one negative thing, not negative, but like so much of the limelight around conference championship weekend is simply NCAAs. Are they qualified? Are they not? So much of it this weekend is NCAAs.
Well, yeah, and also sometimes the lens we look at it through, us included, is not the conference for conference sake. It's all in the context of what's their seed going to be. What does that mean for NCAAs?
I know.
If this guy takes 5th, he can't win NCAAs. If this guy takes 5th, he can't make the podium. That's proven wrong every single year.
And that's why I'm a very firm believer that this sport needs as many people as possible contributing to it, because it is impossible for just 2, 5, 10, whatever people. There's so much to dive into. I think you need people with the lens on each school, on each conference. There's so much analysis you could do. And, sometimes Baschamania will text me and be like, you should talk about this or that. It's like, great point. I really wasn't thinking about it from that perspective because there is just so much to dive into. I mean, we're 32 minutes into this show and we're not even through the 2nd out of 10 weight.
Yeah, and and we're being very much surface level
right
with a lot of it. I mean, if you really get granular with it, you could do this all day.
All day.
But I think it's pretty clear. Drake and Bird are the 1-2, right?
I think so, yeah.
All right, now very quickly, let's talk about the disaster of a situation at larges are at 133. A ton of guys that need them, and there's only 4 available. Tyler Knox, Evan Frost, that's at number 9 and number 4. Cleveland Belton, Reese Whitcraft, Tyler Wells, Ethan Bergink. They all need. And there's probably a couple others that floating around in there too.
You want to know what's crazy?
They were guys that earned AQs.
Speaking of Evan Frost, John Kozak had a great tweet last night. The highest ranked wrestler at each weight that needed an at-large bid is crazy. I'll run through them real quick. 125. Yeah. These are Flo's rankings, so whatever. But Kozak tweeted 125. Spencer Moore, 10. 133 pounds. Evan Frost, the 3 seed. 141. Josh Edmond, 13th. 149. Jaden Abbas, the 11th. 157. Trevor Chumbley, another 11. 165. Will Miller, 7. 174. Lorenzo Norman, the 5. 184. Colton Hulks, 14. 197. Joey Novak, 10. 285. Isaac Trumbull, 4.
Yeah.
That's 3 top 5 guys that need at-larges.
I know, and a lot of them, they weren't EIWA guys, they weren't Ivy League guys, they weren't SoCon. Well, Will Miller was a SoCon guy, but the majority of them were not in a conference where there was one bid and they got upset. Like Isaac Trumbull was in a conference with 4 bids, and he still didn't. I mean, I think he's hurt, but I'm not trying to pick on Isaac. I love him. But him, Spencer Moore, they took 3 or 4 there. Chumbley, they took 10. It's tough. Wrestling's hard. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I think 133 after Burden was. I mean, if you talk about 1-2, it's a pretty easy one. I don't know what the hell they're going to do with Evan Frost. 141. Dylan Cedeno won ACCs over Sam Latona. I had him in. I had him in my crystal ball. Like I think round of you know round of 16 or something. But I don't think a lot of people are familiar with Dylan Cedeno. He's not had a very insanely productive career. He's a kid that went Bergen Catholic kid, just bit his time, and now he's an ACC champ. Um, Chaos at both Big Tens and Big 12s. Big 12s, Cale Happel beats Tegan Jamison in the finals. Jamison beat Alirez, 2023 national champ, in the semis in OT. Alirez comes back and takes third. Jacob Frost was fourth. So coming in, it was Alirez was ranked third, Happel 4, Jamison 5. So deep weight
And here's where,
at Big 12s.
you know, Alira's wrestled kind of a limited schedule. He was out for 2 months. He was out from November 16th, and then he didn't wrestle again until January 10th. What?
This is where coaches, if you're, and I'm not picking on Troy Nickerson or Andrew Alirez, but this is where if you wrestle a limited schedule, like Andrew Alirez is a national champ. He's a national champ, right? He's amazing. Um, but from a seeding perspective, if you wrestle a limited schedule, if you miss a dual meet against Cale Happel and don't have that quality win, you're not going to have quality wins. And when you stub your toe, when you lose to Tegan Jamison, now it's tough to argue to have a seed like above 7.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is Alira is going to get hammered in the seeds because all of a sudden his best win all year was a win back in November against CJ Composto.
Right? So your best win is against number 9. Your best win is against number 9. You have to be behind Happel. You have to be behind Jamison. So how high can you go?
And when you talk about seeds for this weight, so we talked all year about 41 and Alirez, Mendez, Bartlett. And those three guys being kind of, separating themselves from Hardy and the rest of the field. Hardy now right back in the mix. And you got Alirez who could be seeded 7th, 8th, 9th, which would make sense based on his resume this year. I said all year I don't really agree with him being the one. I think if you take a year off, that kind of diminishes the quality of quote-unquote returning national champ weight in the field.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that and I wrote this in the article, is that there's a couple guys with wonky losses that I hope they get rewarded for their Big Ten performance. Like, I don't know what Cale Happel, I don't know what formula it will spit him out with, right? Because he has losses to Moshe Schwartz
and Julian Tagg.
Those are number 15 and 25. And so I hope it doesn't spit him out as like a 7 or something like that. I think they should get rewarded like a little bit of a mulligan, a little bit of a grace.
I can't believe, I get it that you want Hardy the one, Husker Willie, but the fact that Bartlett has 2 wins over the returning national champ Jesse Mendez and a win head-to-head over Brock Hardy, the Big Ten champ, I thought for sure you'd think that Bartlett be the one, Hardy the 2. Bartlett's only losses, he only has 1 loss to Vince Von Bauer, but has 2 wins over Mendez and Hardy. again, it's not a huge deal. I think the semis at this weight are going to be crazy no matter what.
Well,
But
there again, that's my same argument for Happel. Is Hardy is like make the conference championships matter. They just literally wrestled a tournament and Hardy won the bracket. Okay, it just happened like 12 hours ago.
But you also say throughout the year, make the season matter. So is it just conference championships or is it the whole season? Because for the whole season, Bo Bartlett's put together an incredible season. And to have 2 wins over Jesse Mendez, including one for third place at Big Tens, you can't only look at the result from the conference finals. You have to look at the results from the whole tournament.
It's not results from the conference finals. Brock Hardy also beat Jesse Mendez and beat Von Bauer, who just beat Bo Bartlett.
But Bartlett
just wrestled the tournament.
I understand. So, okay, Bo Bartlett and Brock Hardy both have a win over Jesse Mendez this weekend. Bo Bartlett has a win over Brock Hardy also.
Brock Hardy has a win over Vance Von Bauer, who beat Bartlett, checks notes, 12 hours ago.
So all that matters is what happens.
No. If Brock Hardy had 100 losses and won Big Tens, I would not be saying seed Brock Hardy over Bo Bartlett. I wouldn't be saying that. Brock Hardy's losses are not terrible, so terrible that you keep him below.
They're not
Bo Bartlett when they just wrestled a tournament.
Okay, but by that logic, the season doesn't matter. The fact that Hardy lost to Cal Happel. Hold on.
The season did matter.
The fact
because
that
of Brock Hardy, because of Brock Hardy had a bunch of terrible losses, I wouldn't be saying it. The season does matter. That's why I have Happel the 4.
You have Hardy the 1 who lost to Cal Happel and Tegan Jameson. So you're saying that the weight for those, you throw those out by putting Hardy the 1.
They're not terrible losses.
They're not terrible losses, but they're still losses.
Okay. Brock Hardy has 3 losses. Bo Bartlett has 1. They just wrestled a tournament. Brock Hardy won that tournament.
I think Bartlett should be the 1.
Of course you do.
Sure, it's Penn State Bash versus Husker Willie. Bartlett has 1 loss in a head-to-head over Hardy. Hardy has 3 losses.
It's not like I'm like throwing Bartlett out.
By the way, I'm not advocating for Bo to be the 1 because I think it's advantageous for him. I'm just saying, objectively looking at what seed should be, it might turn out that 1 seed here, just like 25, isn't a huge advantage. So I'm not saying it like I want Bo to have the 1 because I think it's an advantage. I'm just looking at it truthfully, objectively, and saying Bartlett only has 1 loss all year in one of the toughest weights, and he beat the returning national champ twice, and his only loss is in the Big Ten semis. That's it.
Who Brock Hardy also just beat.
Who Bo Bartlett beat.
Okay, so they both have that win. Scratch that off. Well, who did Bo Bartlett lose to yesterday? Vance Von Bauer. Who did Brock Hardy beat twice this year, including yesterday? Vance Von Bauer.
And who beat Brock Hardy this year? Bo Bartlett. We're splitting hairs.
We're not splitting hairs. That was months ago. They just had a litmus test to prove it, and Brock Hardy won that litmus test.
Brock Hardy and Bo Bartlett did not wrestle this weekend. You're going to hold that against Bo?
They could have, but Bo Bartlett lost.
Whatever, hater.
This is how seeds go.
Listen, you might be right. I'm not a seed guy. I'm giving you my perspective that I look at it and think Bo Bartlett has. I'm not going to do this for the 100th time. Whatever. You're the seed guy.
We're just going round and round. Okay. Composto wins Ivies. Coder Hant, who has a really strong resume and was ranked number 7 coming in.
He'd be my 4.
EIWAs. What do I have him at? I have Happel at the 4.
Yeah.
What do I have Coder Hant?
5.
5 or 6?
Yeah, 5.
Coder Hant beat Jameson, I believe.
Yeah. I just think Happel's losses, I think Coder Hant's losses are not as bad as Happel's. So I would put Coder Hant the 4, probably Happel the 5. Von Bauer the 6.
Yeah. Yeah, I can get down with that. Henson won Max. Nash Singleton Pac 12s. Who needs at 141? There are 4 available. Not too bad. Not too bad here. Pretty tidy. Jaden Scott needs. Josh Edmond needs. Danny Pacino needs. Ian Oswalt needs. I don't even know how Ian Oswalt earned a qualifier to begin with. But it's not too bad of a situation at 41. Anybody else need that didn't earn Porter needs?
By the way, is Brock Hardy one of the most likable guys in college wrestling, or what?
Yeah, he's great. He's great. All right, 149. Caleb Henson went to overtime but beat Lachlan McNeil to win ACCs. Jaden Abbas needs. ACC took 4. Panero Johnson won Big 12s again, beat Colin Relbuto in the finals. This is a mess. T. Travis stole one because he comes in at 1-1, wrestled 157. But Willie McDougald and Gabe Willishell both ranked need, and that doesn't seem like such a big problem. But when we get to other weights, Ridge Lovett wins Big Tens with Cannon Webster upsetting Shane Van Ness. Ridge really put one on Kyle Parko. And that's the crazy thing, man. Like when we're talking about Lilidal Ramos, when we're talking about Ridge Parko, nothing, their history never said that Ridge Lovett was going to destroy Parko the way that he did or put up near that many points. He's had a hard time scoring. I don't know if he had a takedown on him, maybe one takedown in their last 2 or 3 meetings. But Ridge goes out there and puts a ton of points on. And if you think, what if they wrestle again? You don't pick that result, right? It's a coin flip.
Ridge Lovett with the most back-to-back contrasting wins of
I
the
know.
tournament, where he's 0-3 against Parko, and it's always like 4-3, like seems lower scoring matches. Destroys him 14-2. And then goes and beats Cannon Webster 1-0. The most contrasting results you can have.
I know. How about I had Cannon Webster and Brandon Cannon on my fantasy bench this week. Ugh. So Big Ten takes 8. Only Sam Cartella did not get in that earned one. Trey McDaniel won EIWAs. Ivy League takes 3. Wizlewski, Fernandez, Whalen. Sammy Alvarez won the MAC. They take 3 from there. Jordan Williams winning the Pac-12s over Ethan Styles and Chance Lamer. There's 6 at-larges here.
By the way, we talked about Iowa and Keeter being the only guy at Iowa to outperform his seed. 2 other notes in that seed differential is that Illinois had 11, which is the highest seed to place ratio in the entire tournament. Rutgers had the worst, with like what, minus 9. It was bad.
Well, factoring in that is Yara defaulting. Yara was, I don't know, 4 or 5, right? He defaults to like 10th. Dean Peterson was the 3.
And I bring that up too because, number one, Cannon Webster making the finals I think is awesome for Illinois. Number 2, we talked about this. You had kind of mentioned in our last show or one of the shows where Nebraska has all these 3 seeds. It's very hard. Somebody tried chirping real quick when I threw up the Iowa tweet, and they're like, well, any Penn State guys? Yeah. You had 2 guys, Lilidal and Kasich, that both out one as a 4 and a 2 seed. But again, Penn State also has 5 champs or 5 seeds where they're projected the champ. It's hard to outperform. Similarly, Nebraska with 6 3 seeds and a 2 seed, very hard to outperform their seeds. But I think they still had 4 weights where they outperformed their seeds, led by Lovett and Hardy winning.
Lovett and Hardy winning. Pinto, I think. Uh, but yeah, with the Nebraska with their high seeds, there's only really room to go down,
Yeah.
right? Minto came in as a 3 seed and took eighth or something, um, and it's that's sort of a big hit. But is it totally unexpected? No, I mean he's freshman, new to the scene, and so yeah, when you have high seeds, it's hard to putt for par, right?
Hmm.
Because you have to be perfect.
Well, that's why
Um,
Penn State was third to last with minus
yeah,
four for their seed to place differential. But it's like, yeah, well, when you have that many guys seeded first, that'll happen.
yeah. Actually, I was wrong. 149 at large is not complicated. Jaden Abbas needs, Willie McDougal needs, Gabe Willishell needs, Sam Cartella needs, um, and there's 6 at larges, so everybody should be pretty dang safe. Thoughts on seeds? Seeds at 149. Henson's the one for sure, undefeated, returning national champ with a win over Lovett. Lovett probably the two. Lovett probably the two. Would you think?
Mm.
He has losses
If you're
to
gonna, if the theme,
Henson and Parco.
if the theme is conference championship, I mean, obviously Henson's a no-brainer 1 seed, undefeated conference champ, so Henson's the clear one. And then I think Lovett has wins now over Parco and Van Ness. I think he's the clear 2.
I think he's a clear two as well.
And then Van
Uh,
Ness the 3.
I don't know how they're going to do that. I mean, I would think Van Ness the three because he has 2 wins over Parco. He has 2 losses, Webster and Lovett. Um, and I don't know, back to that 41 thing, the season does matter. The season does matter. Like, if you have reasonable losses and you perform high at the conference tournament, you should get the benefit of the doubt. Cannon Webster did perform well at the conference tournament. However, and we're going to get to this with Brandon Cannon. However, uh, he has bad losses during the season. He has pretty
Yeah.
bad losses. Same with Cale Happel. Like, you should get rewarded, and I rewarded him in my projections, but only to a point because you can't lose to Julian Tag. And Webster had a couple of those clunkers in there. So I wouldn't crush Webster, but I also wouldn't crush Van Ness because he dropped the match to Cannon Webster,
And I
right?
think with Henson Lovett the clear 1 too, you can't put Parco ahead of Van Ness. And then for me it becomes the other conference champions, can you put them above Van Ness and Parco? And that's where
I
it's
don't
like I don't think you can, but I guess it depends on how much weight, you know, you want to give some of these guys.
I don't think so, man. I think it's going to be Henson, Lovett, Van Ness, and then probably between. I'd probably make Parco the 4 still.
Where do you
Maybe
put where do you put
Parco
Panero?
Webster the 4-5. Parco Webster the 4-5. Maybe Jordan Williams the 6. Jordan Williams the 6. Ethan Styles the 7. Something like that.
Where do you put Panero?
I don't know. He has a loss to Robuto.
And it's interesting because that's his only loss at 49.
Is it? And he avenged it.
Because he lost to Patty Gallagher up at 57, lost to Caleb Fish up at 57. His only loss down at 49 was Real Buto, and he avenged that yesterday. So I could
That
see
helps him.
Panero.
That
Yeah,
helps him that those losses don't count, but it also hurts him in that he doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of wins at 49.
yeah.
So that'll be interesting. I don't know if they do anything other than Henson, Lovett, Parco, Van Ness, those guys, the top 4. I don't know what they're doing. 157. Hippolito beat Ed Scott again to win the ACC. They take 3. Um, they take 3. Yeah, okay. Santiago stole a spot from Dylan Evans of Pitt. Big 12 mess here, a real mess. Vinny Zerbin wins over Kobe Seabreak, who didn't even earn a qualifier before conferences. Seabreak makes the finals. Ryder Downey takes third. Fish fourth. Jared Hill from Wyoming beat Cody Chittum in the 5-6 match. That's crazy. Uh,
We were talking about this one last night because you had at Big 12s, you have the 4 beats the 1 and the 6 beats the 2 in the semis. And then on the backside,
yeah,
the 3 Downey beats both Chittum the 1 and Caleb Fish the 2.
yeah. I mean, I always want to get the seeds right. But I don't think anybody can complain from the Big 12 if things are. I don't know how things can be wrong. I don't know how they can be wrong when there's that much conflict in results. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Uh, you don't have much of a leg to stand on. Big Tens. The story in Big Tens really was Cannon, Brandon Cannon beating ASCII, right?
Yeah, there are a couple stories. One is the kid Zach from Locked On Nittany Lion podcast. He comes from a Penn State bias, obviously. He does Penn State content media all year long. He had said that Ethan Miller might be the most fraudulent 1 seed in the history of Big Tens. And then he loses and he got what? He took 6th, I think. Crazy tournament where Cannon Webster, the highlight of Ohio State all weekend by far. And then you have some crazy on the backside, even Blaze beating Taylor, Kasich majoring Cannon 12-2 for the win. Fun wait to watch.
Yeah, and Antrell sort of took a hit with losing to Blaze. Now he does have 2 wins. I mean, and I'm getting into seeding stuff here, but I still think Antrell might be seated higher than Blaze. He might not though. It could drop him. Um, he has a really high RPI. Um, so all right, let me get through. Ivy Meyer wins Ivies, beats Jude Swisher. Rosinski won EIWAs. Lovett won Max over DJ McGee. Bianchi in the Pac-12's Noah Castillo in the SoCon. Right before we get to seeds, this is probably the easiest one because there's 7 at-larges available. Dylan Evans of Pitt, Jay Conway of Missouri, who has a couple quality wins, Trevor Chumbley, Blake Sato of Brown, Colton Wasilewski of Ryder. Nobody's going to be out. That's like devastating. But as far as seeds, K6 clear 1, I believe. Went through the toughest schedule, doesn't have a loss other than an asterisk loss. Um, I guess you could make a case for Meyer, right?
He's got an injury loss too. I think it's Kasich 1, Meyer 2. I don't know what your argument would be for Shapiro when he has less wins and he has.
Well, I think his only losses also are asterisk
Correct.
losses.
He lost. He has a injury default loss to Jimmy Harrington earlier in the season, but he
Yeah.
only
Now
has.
he
He
doesn't
doesn't.
have the wins Kasich has.
He does not have a top 10 win.
Wow. Okay.
So I don't
So
think
yeah, I
he's.
think Kasich 1, Shapiro 2. Then I don't have no idea. Probably the cleanest if Antrell didn't lose to Blaze, I would say Antrell the cleanest of the rest, and he should be 3. Um, and maybe I still feel that way. I don't know. I didn't dig into it enough quite yet, but I don't think I don't think that Cannon can warrant a seed higher than, like, I don't know, maybe he can. What are Cannon's wins?
So
Uh
can
ASCII?
so Cannon has a loss to Panero up at 65. Down at 57, he only has a loss to ASCII and Kasich. The ASCII loss he negated
Avenged.
this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, so I
So his
guess
only non
maybe
avenged loss is Kasich.
so I guess he beat Chittum too, didn't he? Not that that matters really, because Chittum's Big 12
He
6, but
beat Chittum, yeah, early in the year.
yeah, it'll be interesting what they do with Cannon, because the wins that Cannon has, Antrell also has. I think I think that's the conversation. There's a 3-4, Taylor or Cannon, and then Blaze somewhere around there, and then I'd have to dig into uh, Hippolito's resume. Big 12, man, what a mess. That's gonna take some figuring out. Okay, 1,6,500. Garvin wins the ACCs over Nick Hamilton. Mac Church and Derek Fields were uh, 3 and 4. Um, Peyton Hall wins Big 12s over Cam Steed. Cam Steed beat Terrell Barraclaw in the semi. Aiden Riggins took fourth. Cam Amin fifth. Nico Ruiz sixth. Ruiz beat Amin on the front side. Big Ten, just sort of how we expected it. Mesenbrink, Caliendo, Bo Mantanona had a good tournament. Takes third. He beat Andrew Sparks. Braden Scholes beat Minto, who came in as the 3 seed, and then Minto defaulted out. Patty Gallagher took 7th. I think he might have defaulted out too. Cody Goebel came out of nowhere from Wisconsin, beat a couple guys. Tyler Lillard and Anthony White, who are ranked 19th and 22nd respectively, both need. White had a good win on the front side. I forget who it was, but he has a good win on the front side, and then somehow needs still
White
needs.
does. White beat.
White beat Lillard.
Yeah, and then he lost. Then he got tech to Caliendo,
Rutgers has a lot of needs.
and then he lost to Mayfield 5-1.
I mean, Yara needs, White needs, Turley needs.
Yeah, Rutgers only qualified 5 this weekend.
They are, though, oddly. Harrer. So one of the criteria for getting an at-large is one place off of the AQ, and
Yep.
Harrer met that by taking 9th. So Rutgers has a lot of needs, but I think they're going to get a lot of wild cards. Last year, I think it was Pitt that got a lot of wild cards. I think this year it'll be Rutgers that gets them. EIWA's Mosher beat Mulvaney. Filipowicz needs one. Ramirez, Julian won Ivies. Yeah, not much to talk about in other conferences. This weight is pretty much a 2-man race, right? There are 4 wild card available, and here's who earned but didn't get in. Aiden Wallace at Duke, Drake Rhodes, South Dakota State, Tyler Lillard, Anthony White, Filipowicz, Evan Mag, Will Miller. And so there's a lot of interesting cats, but Will Miller, I think, will definitely get in. He should get in. Do we really want to talk about seeds here? I mean, it's
No, it's pretty black and white, I think.
Mesenbrink, Caliendo, and then I don't know. Is it almost who cares?
It's not who cares, but it's one of those things of like Messenbrink. After this weekend, I think Gable might be the biggest favorite to win. he's proved that he's still right there with even a return national champ. I'd say Messenbrink is probably 2 for.
Who would be? Let me ask you a question. Who would be your pick right now to take third?
At this weight,
Mm-hmm.
Bear Claw.
I'm going to take Hunter Garvin. I think Garvin's a lights on kind of guy. Plus, he came out to the Beach Boys.
Hunter Garvin is a very good wrestler.
Yeah,
Hunter Garvin also will
lose a lot.
Yeah, like I mean, he had three losses to Rhodes, Hall, and Bear Claw, all at the Cliff Keen. Lost to Bear Claw another time. Lost to Lillard. He can have a great tournament. He's a great wrestler. At the same time, I could see him not All-Americaning.
No. Nope. That won't happen.
All right, so I'll name guys. You tell me who's going to place higher. Messenbrink.
Yes.
Messenbrink or Garvin. Caliendo.
Maybe.
Bear Claw.
No.
Peyton. You think
I'm taking third. We don't even need to do this. I'm taking Hunter Garvin third.
Okay. That's bold. Over Bear Claw, Hall, Julian Ramirez, Cam Amin, Minto, Gallagher, Bo Montanona, Andrew Sparks.
Julian's nice. Julian has the best resume of all time of somebody that's never AA'd.
He's never
AA'd. By far, without a doubt, 100% best wins in the history of college wrestling that didn't AA. The man has beaten David Carr, Quincy Monday. Okay, 174. Matty Singleton wins ACCs over Luca Augustine. Josh Ogunsanya was third. Lenny Wolak was fourth, and number 5 in the country. Lorenzo.
By the way, real quick, sorry, 165. Just one more note. Caliendo did bring it to Messenbrink. It's hard to beat someone 4, 5, 6 times in a row. I think that was Messenbrink's 5th time beating Caliendo now. And Caliendo made it a match. Tight 4-1 match. It does make NCAAs that much more interesting that Caliendo is closing the gap. Messenbrink, I still think, is a big favorite. He's beaten him 5 times in a row. But when you wrestle somebody 6 times in a row, it does get harder. In my opinion, the guy who can't win has nothing to lose. And, that 6th, 7th match, especially as the gap seems to be getting closer here. So, worth noting.
Yeah. I mean, you know how much I love Caliendo.
I love Caliendo.
But I just don't. I wouldn't.
Listen, Messenbrink's the pick. I'm just saying, you got to give him credit. He brought it. He didn't just kind of give up like, oh, I can't beat this guy. He brought it to him.
Well, yeah. Dude's a bull. Singleton wins ACCs. They take 4. Number 5, Lorenzo Norman needs a wild card. Big 12's Keegan O'Toole beats Dean Hamidi in a classic.
Oh, awesome match.
Hamidi, well, first of all, they had a wild scramble that resulted in no points. Then Hamidi finally does get one. O'Toole counters with a takedown.
Well, Dean was up 4-0.
I thought a key sequence was when. Well, I don't know. I have to go back and watch it, which is not a chore because that match was awesome. But Hamidi's surely a thing, surely in the mix. And O'Toole's going to be the 1 seed because he beat Levi. So that means that Levi and Hamidi are going to be the 2-3.
Levi Haynes, by the way, my gosh, talk about putting together a college resume. 3 for 3 now with Big Ten titles. And winning a Big Ten title is not easy. There's guys like Vincenzo Joseph that didn't win one. Like, it is just an incredible tournament. He's now 3 for 3 with Big Ten titles with a 2nd and 1st place NCAA finish. My gosh, Levi Haynes putting together an all-time college resume.
I know, and I don't. I had Levi. I don't know, 7, 9, something like that, in on the big board in his senior year, in his graduating class, and there is. It's funny, like I love that recruiting because when I first started recruiting information, recruiting conversations were almost non-existent in wrestling, and now it's so big. It's what everybody talks about, but at the same time, when you get a top 10 guy, like you listen to the message board and it's like, oh, he's a shoe in 4-time All American. Oh, this guy could be a 4-time national champ. Uh, and if he doesn't, did he live up to expectations? And you just can't assume that. You cannot. Nothing. I had no inclination that Levi Haynes would be a 3-time Big Ten champ. I had no. I had no visions of Levi Haynes, freshman national finalist. You know,
That's Bashada's whole point with this guy's going to be a four-timer. What happens from high school to college can be very different on both sides. On both, this guy did, we're seeing right now all these four-time champs. Jax Forrest got number 2 over a guy who's going for number 4. You got Marcus Blaze getting number 4 this weekend. You got Anthony Knox getting number 4 this weekend. And it's like, well, who's going to have the success in college is not just because they had success in high school. And like you said, some of these guys that are not top 5 on the big board,
yeah.
but putting together
Well,
incredible.
and to go further, like that's my defense all the time for people that complain about Penn State or like want to attribute when they say, well, do kids really develop at Penn State because they get all the best recruits? They should be the best. Getting a recruit and making sure they pan out are two different things, and nobody has a higher batting average than Penn State. Yeah, they get a lot. They also manage them the best. Nobody has a higher batting average, right? So you can say Levi Haynes was supposed to be one of the best. Being supposed to and doing it are two different things. And to the degree, I don't care if you rank 7th, 9th, whatever I had them. That doesn't mean they're going to be
By the way,
3-time Big Ten champs.
another Levi Haynes point here. He only gave up 5 points all weekend. Gave up 1 point in escape. Then gave up 3 to Kennedy. I think they're all escapes. And then he gave up 1 escape to Pinto. He got a pin, and then he beat Kennedy 10-3, and then he majored Pinto. Just Levi Haynes is so damn good.
Yep, Levi Haynes wins another Big Ten title, this time over Lenny Pinto. The story in my book, though, was Danny Bronigal. I don't understand it. I can't wrap my head around it. And Danny Bronigal was never this good. Not in results and not in eyeball test. And he looked phenomenal this weekend.
Got an impressive 4-1 win in the third place match over Karchla.
He beat Karchla twice.
Mm-hmm.
He beat Karchla twice. He damn near made the finals and beat Pinto, had a takedown at the buzzer to beat him. He came in. This is objective. He came in number 25 in the country. He was ranked 25th in the country coming into this weekend. For a reason. There's a reason he was only ranked 25th. Because of his win-loss resume. His resume did not suggest this type of performance.
Crazy.
And he wasn't just eking him out. He was going and getting it. He looked great. So Bronigal 3rd, Karchla 4, Kennedy 5, Branson John, true freshman, unranked, takes 6, Clayton Whiting 7, Bauman 8, Jackson Turley needs a wild card. Garrett Thompson over Alex Kramer in the MAC, Casella over Wask in the EIWAs, and that's what makes Simon Ruiz won Ivies. That's what makes seeding really difficult. at this weight. Pinto has losses to. He has a loss to Wask, I believe. I believe he has a loss to Norman. I think he has a loss to Ruiz, and he just was runner up at Big Ten. So his seed, who the hell knows? I mean, now I don't think he's. I mean, this is a 3-horse race, right? There's O'Toole, Hamidi, and Levi. But I'm just thinking about seeds. Situation with at larges. Norman needs one. 5th in the country. He needs one. Brody Conley, Jackson Turley, Miles Tackett from Bucknell, who I'm surprised he didn't get in. It was a sort of a deepish weight, EIWAs, but Tackett's not getting in. He has some good wins this year. And Nico Incontrera, another guy with good wins. So there's 5 guys I just listed. Norman, Conley, Turley, Tackett, Incontrera. There's only 4 bids.
Hey, Willie, one more point now that I'm thinking about it too, about going back to O'Toole over Hamidi. What'd you make of Oklahoma State going 1 for 6 in the finals?
I thought people made too much of that. I think people make too much of that. It's just wasn't their night. Like, how many of those? Just because it would be different if they got barnstormed. I mean, Spratley lost late. Hamidi lost in an all-time classic. You know, who else lost?
Well, it was interesting because when I was looking at
Plot lost to a guy he always loses to.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, Strickenberger was the higher seed over Spratley. Happel was the higher seed over Jameson. O'Toole was technically lower seed, but, I mean, O'Toole's higher ranked. Parker's obviously had Plot's number.
Yeah,
and
how about
then
all those
Volker maybe over Serber, but
I mean,
I think the numbers.
Volker Serber is always insane.
I think the optics were more dramatic than the reflection of it. The numbers sounds worse than it is, I think, if you're an Oklahoma State fan.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they went 0 for whatever. Yeah, they were underdogs in almost every one of them. Okay, let's get to 184 and Keckeisen Plot. Keckeisen beats Plot for the umpteenth time. Bennett Berge. You know, this is another deep Big 12 bracket, 2-3-5. Bennett Berge ranked 5th in the country, takes 3rd. Nietenbach was 4th. Bachman, Parker, Big 12 takes 7. Colton Hawks needs. ACC was won by Reese Heller. Great match with Dylan Fishback in the finals. Gavin Kane gets in. TJ Stewart does not. Returning All-American. Big 10. Carter Starachi, Max Mickinelli was a great bout.
Awesome match.
Awesome match. Mickinelli is the truth. He's big and he's good. And he hits that boom, quick little ankle pick on Carter. And I thought, well, 2 things. I thought Carter wore him out. I thought by the end of the match, I thought Max was feeling it.
Yeah.
And part of that is I'm a guy.
Hold on. Time out. We just lost your camera, your microphone. We just lost everything. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden you said is and it repeated for like a minute.
You got me now?
No, kind of. I think we got your mic. You still got your other camera, but
you got my other camera.
We got chin view.
This is a
Mickey
dongle
Mouse
problem.
A dongle problem. Spend the $10 and get a new dongle. A $10 dongle, bringing the whole show down.
I have 100 of them. I got 17 of them sitting right here. Anyway, Carter, name another guy who put on as much pressure and constantly cut off the mat effectively as Carter Starachi. And over the course of 7 minutes, I mean, it wears you out. And
not just 7 minutes, 9 minutes. I mean, going into overtime like that, you know, Carter, I don't know that there's a guy in the entire field at any weight that I'm more confident is ready to go in overtime as Carter.
oh yeah, and not even flustered about it.
Right. Just like it's part of his match.
Yeah.
Not like he's expecting to go to overtime, just like 7 minutes finishes and like he's just warming up. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Who
And
do you
so-
lean Hodge right now?
Oh, I don't know. That's a tough question.
I think it's down to Gable and Carter in my mind. It's down to those two.
Yeah.
I think Messenbrink not getting 100% bonus really hurts his cause because the weight's not deep. I think so. I think every time I heard Messenbrink, now don't get me wrong, he separated himself from the rest of the field and he has dominated. But one of the biggest arguments was his 100% bonus. Only Gable's at 100% bonus. He's the only wrestler left that has 100% bonus. I think Carter going for number 5, and I know Carter has some close matches, but I don't know, man. You go out and win number 5, and you do it beating Parker, and you know Max McAnally got Freshman of the Year, and he just beat him. I think it's down to Gable and Carter.
It's tough. I don't know. I haven't even begun thinking about it yet. Big tournament left.
By the way, both Gable and Carter, 2 of the 8 remaining undefeated wrestlers heading into NCAAs.
There's 8?
Carter, Parker, Hendrickson, O'Toole, Messenbrink, Henson, Gable, Ferrari.
Henson. No. Okay. We will cross the Hodge Bridge when we get to it. Well, let's talk about a potential rematch. One of the things I said in the article that I wrote was
Cat alert.
Cat alert. We got a cat. Thing's wild. I would like to see McAnally on the other side of the bracket.
I don't know
if it's deserved. Listen, Plott has lost to one guy this year. McAnally's lost to one guy this year. I don't know what the formulas look like and what the formula is going to spit out, but I kind of want to see Parker McAnally.
You want my take that you won't like?
Yeah.
I agree with you, but I'll use logic you won't like to get us there.
I'm a big fan of logic, especially when it comes to speech.
You got to separate these two. We do not want Big Ten finals in the upper semi and Big 12 finals in the bottom semis. Here's what we need. Carter the 1.
You're
Parker,
agreeing with me.
Yes, but I'm giving you different logic. Carter the 1, Parker the 2. Max the 3, Plott the 4. Yeah. Don't tell me the loss to Ferrari doesn't count because he's not in the field. Use that as logic to say Plott lost to 2 guys, put him 4th.
Yeah.
I know you put in the article that the loss to Ferrari doesn't count. I think it does count. It's an official loss just because Ferrari's not in the field.
It does not count in seeding.
I know what you're saying. That's what it should be. It should be Carter 1, Parker 2. And by the way, I don't know why people are saying Parker 1, Carter 2.
I saw people saying that too. What are they talking about?
Carter's been ranked 1 all year. And again, I don't care if you don't want to use it because it was an unofficial match, but Carter also beat Parker.
Yeah, whatever.
You can't tell me it didn't happen. You can tell me it's unofficial, but you can't tell me it didn't happen.
Yeah, and you're not going to ignore it. Okay. Big Ten got Aiden. Ross McFarlane with EIWAs. Chris Foca wins Ivy. Ivy gets 4 in. Mac gets 3 in. TJ McDonald won Pac-12s. Devin Hendricks, that won SoCon. I believe he's Bellarmine's first ever NCAA qualifier. I think.
Hey, Bennett Berge looks sharp this weekend.
Bennett Berge's good. He could be the guy when some of these guys graduate.
He lost 7-3 to Plot, and then
certainly in the mix. 184, nobody needs. Dennis Robin needs. Colin Fegley from Lock Haven needs, and there's 5 at-larges.
Yeah,
this is a weight you don't even worry about. Interesting twist at 197. We'll start at ACCs where Max Stout, who I've been touting recently, he won over Nick Stemma. Andy Smith was third. Stephen Burrows stole a spot from Christian Knopp. Big 12s. Wyatt Volker gets the win over Luke Serber. Glazier is third. Ian Bush, the 4. He stole over Joey Novak, who's ranked 11th in the country. But here's the twist. The twist is in Big Ten finals. Jacob Cardenas gets it done over Stephen Buchanan. Zach Bronigal was third. Isaiah Salazar 4. Cam McDaniels 5. He really beat up on Josh Barr in the 5th place bout. I'm just kidding. Josh Barr defaulted.
By the way, for everybody asking me about Barr, I do think he'll be fine. I do think he'll be ready to go for NCAAs. I don't know if he'll be 100%, but he'll be fine and he'll go.
Yeah, let's hope Josh is fine. It's a knee, I think, maybe.
Sure.
Okay, we'll run through it. Michael Beard won EIWAs over Dylan Bechtold. They get 4 in. Luke Stout wins Ivies. Happy household in the Stout family, right? You got 2 conference champions this weekend. Mac in the ACC, Luke in the Ivies. Brock Zerwoski stole a spot by winning the MAC finals over Tucker Hogan. AJ Ferrari wins the Pac-12s over Stephen Little. Hopkins over.
So is AJ the one?
So
undefeated
that's the
conference champ.
And that is the twist. Stephen Buchanan looked to be the clear number 1 based on being undefeated and wrestling a very, very robust schedule compared to AJ Ferrari, who is undefeated, however, wrestled a very abbreviated season and literally only beat 1 top 15 guy. He beat 2 top 33. He beat 2 ranked guys. He beat Nick Stemmet and he beat Stephen Little, who was concussed, and 0 takedowns in the match. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they put Ferrari 1 over Buchanan, who now has a loss. I don't know. This is not a logic take. This is not a formula take. It's not even really by a seeding process take. It's almost a wish, just a wish. I just wish Stephen Buchanan would get a mulligan. Give him the 1, AJ Ferrari the 2, let him really earn it, And I'm not saying he can't. I mean, AJ might be my pick, but
this is going to be a weight that I'm going to spend some time before I make my pick, because this weight is tough. This weight is tough to pick.
Yeah. Well, is it?
Yeah, I think so. Those top 3 guys have all had 1 takedown matches, and then Ferrari hasn't wrestled the top 10 guy this year.
Yeah.
Well, he wrestled Little, but,
But, I mean, I don't know. I'm saying that, to me, there's 3 guys.
There's 4.
To me, there's 3.
I think Buchanan, Barr, Cardenas, Ferrari are all right there. Cardenas just won Big Tens. Barr just beat Cardenas a month ago.
Yeah.
Barr Buchanan was a 1 takedown match. I think all four of those guys can win it.
Yeah, I just can't take Barr. I just can't.
Well, but that's been the theme all year.
Um,
I do think it's going to be harder to pick Barr now.
I say it every show. Ken and the pick are two different things.
No, I agree.
What would lead you to pick Barr, other than you love Penn State?
I don't think it's just about. Listen, I'm rooting for Barr. I make no bones about that. Barr is my guy. I think Barr has a win over Cardenas, who's the Big Ten champion, just beat Buchanan. Penn State has their guys ready in March. To write off picking Barr is also just anti-Penn State, not picking him because he's Penn State. To not think that Penn State has their guys right there in March, especially when Barr has a win over the Big Ten champ.
This is peak bias.
Oh, my God, I can't with you.
This is peak bias. Listen, Josh Barr
beat Cardenas, who just won Big Tens, you bloomin' idiot. You've been saying this all year. You didn't have him in the top 8. I get it. You have anti-Barr bias. I have Penn State bias. Sure, let's split it down the middle.
I have anti-Josh Barr bias?
All year, you didn't have him in the top 8. He had to beat Cardenas before you put him in the crystal ball.
That's false. He was in the crystal ball. He wasn't in the first edition because literally Penn State did not say who their starter was. Same situation with Luke Serber. I'm saying Josh Barr missed the podium picture at Big Tens.
He got injured, you bloomin' idiot.
Thank you. He was at the hospital during pictures. But now you want to take him to run the table?
No, I didn't say he's my pick. I don't think because he's 100%, I think it's going to be very hard to pick him this weekend. Can he win it? 100%. 100%. Let's see where his health is in 2 weeks.
Okay. Again, Ken and the pick.
I didn't say he's my pick.
I'm saying if he is your pick, you are insane. You're
now saying if he's your pick. I didn't say he's my pick. I said I'm going to do some homework.
Under no circumstances should Josh Barr be your pick.
Josh Barr's my pick.
Under zero circumstances.
Book it.
Other than pure, unadulterated Penn State love.
Hold on a second. Barr, 197-pound champ. Here, just for Willie. There we go. If you can't read it, it says Barr, 197-pound champ. We're going to leave that up to NCAAs.
All right. Good. I like it. Ballsy. Question is, seed-wise. Well, let's stay with the process we've been going to and see who needs at 97. Is there anybody notable? Basically Joey Novak, who's ranked 11th, and they get 4, and only 3 guys that earned. So there's not going to be any issues there. Where would Josh Barr be seated, and does it matter?
I don't think it matters. No. I think I don't know how you rank from a seed standpoint do you factor in his loss to Salazar?
The only way you can't remove it. The formula is going to have that as a loss. Let me see something. The McDaniel match. The McDaniel match will not count as a loss.
No, because only the first injury default one will, right?
So Josh will have 3 losses on his record. A loss to Buchanan, a loss to Cardenas, and a loss to Salazar. and Salazar lost to Bronigo. So I don't know. I don't know how that seeding is going to go.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know how. What's the lowest you think they could seed Bar?
Like 6, which
Which
doesn't, which to me means it doesn't matter because instead of being a 3, he's a 6, and that's the same thing.
it's going to be the same quarterfinal. Yeah.
Right. Instead of being the 4, he's a 5 or something like that. So it's the same thing.
The biggest question is again. I do think he'll be ready to go. I'm hoping.
I hope so.
I'm confident he'll be ready to go. I don't know how close to. Penn State has a great track record with having guys ready for the tournament for the most part.
He's probably down in the room working out with Suriano right now.
Yeah, definitely. That's the example. Not Nolf, not Starachi, not the rest of the guys who.
I'm trolling you.
Hey, Willie. Bar, 197-pound champ.
What does he deadlift though? Maybe he should just deadlift.
AJ, in one of his interviews, said his deadlift went from 665 to 675, and it was the most random tidbit in the interview. Oh man,
AJ
wrestling needs more AJ.
AJ said in an interview that he's really working on his vanity while wearing an AJ Ferrari t-shirt. He is a gem. Okay. Heavyweight Dayton Pitzer, who's been really up and down in his career, was up this weekend. He beat Jimmy Mullen in the ACC finals.
After beating Trumbull in the semis.
Isaac Trumbull, who was 4th in the country, needs a wild card. Even in a bracket that took 5, he's obviously not healthy. Or at least at the time. Wyatt Hendrickson got a little bit of a scare from Colton Schultz, who got a quick turn on him. Then comes back to win, I think, 8-3, 8-5. I believe.
Something like that, but it looked like Hendricks was hurt because I can't remember if he didn't shake his hand or he was holding his hand. It was something that looked like he might have a hand issue going on.
Yeah. But he does come back. He does get it. Hendrickson still undefeated over Colton Schultz. Rasmussen and Sam Mitchell stole spots from Lance Runyon and Juan Mora. Heavyweight's sort of a problem nationally. I'll get to that in a second. Gable looked dang good. Kirkfleet didn't get to a leg, didn't come close to scoring. We'll see what kind of adjustments, if there's any upper weight room in the country that can make adjustments in 10 days, it's Penn State's. But Gable was the clear winner there. Stevenson, Kirkfleet. Ben Keeter came back and took 3rd. I love it because not that I was rooting for him over anybody, not Heinzelman, not Feldman, not Luffman. I'm not rooting for Ben. I love it just in the sense that a lot of people have been bagging on Ben lately, and it's overboard.
100%. They're loan out.
Ben is a freshman in a sea of 6th-year seniors. He's ranked 11th in the country. He's a freshman in a sea. Take out all the seniors. Next year, he's like top 6. Okay? Maybe 3rd. He might be 3rd as a sophomore. You guys are bagging on him. He comes all the way back, takes 3rd. Zip it. Stevenson, Kirkfleet, Keeter, Heinzelman, Feldman, Luffman, Nevels. Venadia stole 1. Filipowicz stole 1. EIWA's Owen Treffin, ranked 5th in the country. He's going to be ranked 4th after this weekend. Undefeated.
Who is?
Owen Treffin.
He is? Oh, I missed him in my 8 undefeated. It's
not?
actually 9.
Is he not?
Look, you might be right. I might have missed him.
Maybe I'm messing up here.
No, you're right. I missed him. Ooh,
Yeah.
I got to go tweet that. Owen Treffin, so there's 9.
Owen Treffen undefeated 21-0 with a win over Colton Schultz and
Shocked nobody.
Luffman.
There's a ninth.
And
Yeah. Wow, I
Luffman.
missed that one.
Um. So, but I don't want it, and that's another thing in the article that I just posted. I don't want to hear anything about Owen Treffen undefeated. He should be seated ahead of Kirkfleet, who has a loss. Shut up. Stop.
So there's 3 undefeated guys at heavyweight going into NCAA's. That's wild. Treppen, Hendrickson, and Gable all undefeated.
If they seed Owen Treffen ahead of Kirkfleet, we riot. Ashton Davis, not ranked, was the Ivy League champ. Gavin Hoffman, player coach, won the MAC, who takes 3. And let's check out 285. Who needs? There's 4 available. Number 4, Trumbull needs. Number 7, Slavakuski needs. Number 15, Lance Runyon needs. Juan Mora needs, and Harley Anderson needs. Those are the 5 that earned auto qualifiers or earned allocations that didn't get in at conferences. So 5 spots for ranked guys for 4 guys. And Harley had a terrible. I don't know how Harley won't get in. It'll be Trumbull, Runyon, Mora, Slavakuski. Now, I think it's pretty obvious. Some people might not agree with me, but Gable 1, Hendrickson, Kirkfleet 2 and 3, and then who cares?
Treppen the 4.
Simple. Pretty simple. Yeah, I guess Treffen the 4. He has a win over Schultz.
Undefeated conference champ, I think 4. Yeah.
Probably Schultz the 5.
Hey, we end NCAA's with 184, right?
Gotta.
Especially
National
if it's
champ, first
Carter
national champ, and one of them going for 5.
Yeah, gotta end it with 184.
Gotta. That, my friend, is a long show.
Yeah, so that's weight by weight. Any one-off notes from the weekend that we did not cover?
No, just the weigh-in debacle at Big 12s.
Am I hearing that there might be a lawsuit coming or something?
I hear rumors. I hear
the Twitter birds rumor.
I mean, if you're not aware, if you watch the show, you're probably aware because you're a diehard. But if you're not aware, a couple guys weren't in the proper area for skin checks at the proper time, which is supposed to be immediately DQ and out of the tournament. And they seem to have done that and then reversed course. They didn't wrestle their matches and then somehow magically went back and wrestled those matches. There's some people saying there's a lawsuit, like, hey, you broke protocol, that's not the rules, yada, yada, yada. I don't know. I don't know if anybody's going to file a lawsuit, but there are birds chirping.
All right, well, that's a conference championship show number 4 to recap the weekend. I believe at-larges / wild cards will come out Tuesday, and I believe brackets will come out Wednesday night. So we will be back most likely when the brackets come out, I assume.
Yep. Emergency show Wednesday night, Thursday morning.
Most likely a Wednesday night, Thursday night bracket show, an NCAA preview show, which will be another couple of hours.
All right, Bash, drop it on them.
Are you going to sleep or are you doing more articles?
No, I'm in my prime. I got too much work to do.
All right. I'm going to go get some doctors and head to State College and make sure my boy Bar is taken care of.
Do the Miyagi.
All right. That's a show.
Get him right.
Shout out Josh Allen. Go Bills.
Go Bills.